Sundaram PR, Regional CEO India World Gold Council, to be the session chair for the next few discussions. So to begin with, let's invite Mr. Arjun Raghavendra. He's a legal counsel practicing out of Delhi, working with IGPC IIMA Ahmedabad. He was in the Indian Revenue Service till 2019, and he will be having a conversation on balancing regulation to facilitation. It'll be a chat on ease of doing business with Sri Anant R, who is Director Customs DOR, Ministry of Finance. Sri Anant is a 2009 batch IRS officer, currently working as Director Customs, and he has been involved with IGCR 2022. He has been at the forefront of IT-related issues in Central Board of Excise and Customs. So with that, I would like to invite you to the stage, please. Thank you.
I think it's about a conversation, so I would first open the thing for you to make your remarks. If you have a presentation, obviously go ahead with that. So you would like to start with the presentation? Yeah?
Yes.
Great.
So we'll start.
Please.
Mr. Somasundaram, colleagues, good morning everyone. So I will just take you through different snapshots about Indian customs perspective, because gold is regulated by many agencies. So I will just limit myself to the Indian customs. So yeah, of course we know the significance of gold, and you know better than me, so I don't have to dwell much onto it. But from the customs perspective, gold is very important for us, because it is one of the commodity which is prone to smuggling. So we have a lot of seizures, and our investigating agencies are daily seizing a lot of golds, and we see a lot of innovative methods in which people use it for bringing gold clandestinely into India. So of course, it's also linked to money laundering, terror financing, etc. So we have also seen changing trends. Let us say earlier it used to be Middle East. Now we have a lot of these coming from land borders, let us say Myanmar, Bangladesh, and other things. So it is always like cat and mouse. So people become better, and then we also have to innovate much better. And this is on the enforcement side. But I will also focus on facilitation, because now customs always balances between facilitation and enforcement. So, right, not only for gold, but otherwise also in last 10 years, customs has done tremendously with respect to facilitation. A lot has changed the perspective, like customs was not only, more of an enforcer, but more of a facilitator now. Yeah, so especially thanks to the IT. So a lot of IT systems have developed, and it has become more seamless for us. There is a less interaction with customs. So those are the key points which I want to take it forward. Of course, there are, I'll just give you this one slide, so that, for the gold which is coming, I mean, let us say most of the gold is cleared within a day or two, I think, but this is for the average of all the ports and all the commodities. We have seen drastic reduction in the time taken for clearances, and now it has almost offed. And our target is not to stop with it, but make it further off. Let us say 48 hours should be for all consignments. Of course, for gold it will be 12 hours, because most of them will be coming through air. So that is our target in which we are moving. So from the perspective of facilitation, we wanted to facilitate the genuine trade which comes, so that there is less of paperwork and other things. So in this perspective, of course, while gold is one commodity which is charged with, let us say, 15% or something, which is dependent on the overall economic scenario. It's not, Ministry of Finance which decides, but it takes into account a lot of factors. But from the perspective of facilitating exports and seeing that gold should be available to the like jewelers, so that we also become jewelry hub. So there are a lot of schemes which are already there. Like it is not something new, but I will talk about IGCR 2017, which was revamped in 2022. Essentially, it was a scheme where we had tried to, automate certain processes so that all the raw materials which are coming into India, or let us say, to facilitate manufacturing, a lot of these checks which are being done during clearances cannot be postponed, cannot be done at the time of post clearance. That is the whole idea of this IGCR, so that during clearance we don't check much, or if there is a, either we do a lot of verification before the clearance for the entity, and maybe we monitor post export, post import, not at the time of clearance, so that your dwell time reduces and you are able to deliver to the your customer and other things. That has been a main aim of this one. So main aim is that we have taken advantage of an IT, so that we made everything online, so that earlier IGCR for many other commodities, every time you do something you will have to report back physically through paper to the officer. Now it has become online, and we have done away with most of the transaction based reporting. So we just made monthly, you'll have to report, that's it. So there is no need for, let us say, if you take it to job work, if you take it to here, if you do other things. So all those things, there was a requirement for reporting manually. So all those have been done away with, so that we trust them, so that monthly, if they submit certain statements, that's fine. So this was a context in which IGCR was implemented. Of course, you might be knowing product-linked incentives. So a lot of these sectors which government wants to promote, so they are giving some product-linked incentive. So IGCR is one mechanism by which it implements, so that the raw material is available, or certain capital goods are available to the industry, so that they manufacture at the zero cost, while having a tax on the finished products, so that the raw materials, if it is coming for a manufacturing, then it has a zero cost. And how do you monitor that it is put to a right use? IGCR is the solution. So in this context, of course, there are two schemes which are operated for export promotion. One is like export against supply by foreign buyer, which is, they call it as 56 of 2000. So it allows the gold to be imported completely duty free. And earlier there used to be paper forms where they need to give some bonds. I'll come to the difficulties faced. One other scheme was relating to replenishment and export against supply by nominated agencies. All these are duty free, but nominated agencies or nominated banks bring this gold, supply this to the exporter, then they wait for the export documents to be submitted by exporter back. Then the importer, who is nominated agencies or banks, used to get their bond fulfilled. So that is how the compliance was done. But all these were manual. I'll come to the problem. So main problem, there could be a lot of things. One, in this whole scheme of things, even though it was being targeted at exporters who are jewelers, who are supposed to manufacture something and export back, but all the obligations were on nominated banks and agencies. There was seldom any obligation on the exporter per se. And of course, this entire cycle, let us say, if he brings 100 kgs of gold, he supplies to 10 people, and one person is not supplying his export documents, the compliance or his bank guarantee relating to all 100 kgs would remain waiting in the customs. So that also has a cash flow issue. It has a lot of other consequences. Second, he has to deal with multiple ports. Let us say if he is importing, let us say for logistic reasons, in multiple ports, then he has to deal with multiple authorities. And all these compliances are paper-based, so he has to submit reams of documents. And then there is always a physical interface with an officer. So extending the IGCR rules, we had extended these rules to the gold as well, so that all these compliances can be made online. There is need to deal with only one authority. There is need to have one bond which is across places. Those forms are standardized, So custom officer not asking new documents every time you go, and it doesn't change officer to officer. So those are the key, and the partial recredit. Let us say, if you have 100 kgs and you produce, the export for, let us say, 20 kgs, your recredit is done for 20 kgs. So those are the intentions, so that, whatever is done, then, it comes into the, it becomes recredit. So these are the ultimate aim on which IGCR rules 2022 has come in. And why we are changed from 2017 to 22 was to bring gold into it, because there are certain obligations which are not covered in IGCR 17. So we had changed the rules completely so that it becomes amenable to gold. Of course, UAE SEPA is also there, where uh, there is a 1% concession without any obligation further on the post exports. But because it is imported, TRQ holder is jeweler, but it is imported by the nominated banks and agencies. Only till it gets supplied to the exporter, there is an IGCR on UAE SEPA, so that they can avail this particular concession. So again, IGCR is used here, and of course on the jewelry front also we are doing some other things. So these are the other changes where we are trying to promote gems and jewelry through e-commerce postal, where, let us say, when somebody jewelry person sends a, e-commerce, no questions asked, return policy is there, but customs was not asking too many questions when it is returned. So we had developed an SOP such that, the e-commerce is able to have a return policy with some guidelines. So it is being piloted in Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai. There are a lot of feedbacks which are there. Government is considering it, but this is a step so that, to promote e-commerce, to promote jewelry, and to have more manufacturing done in India. Same thing will happen for post. We are trying to leverage 1 lakh post offices across India, so that same SOP will be applicable. Let us say small jewelry manufacturer or small jeweler who is situated in some remote district as well can drop his consignment in nearby post office. Every district, mostly every district will have one designated post office where he can have e-commerce transactions. He can deposit to post like he delivers a post, of course, with a declaration. Then every clearance will be done by post and it will be taken to a particular thing. So this is also to promote and keeping the gems and jewelry sector also in this one. So gold, so a lot of demand for gold for producing jewelry will be there, and customs is here to facilitate. And one more thing which we are doing, especially with respect to Gift City, is to have customs portal for SEZ operations. So the TRQ and other operations would be integrated, and we will enable availing UAE SEPA 1% concession through IABX. TRQ holder may also be directly able to get it through IABX. So those are the key aspects which we are trying to cover in from the customs in the gold sector. Thank you. So we will have questions. Yeah.
How do you want to take it? You want to finish here? You don't have a presentation. Okay, I think we'll open it up for questions. First, a couple of points. I mean, I think it's very, very good. And all we have been hearing in recent times is that the work, we all know the challenges. Let's be very clear. I think people in the industry also knows that. Is that the customs, particularly on gold, now have become more responsive to the requirements of the industry, particularly with IIBX. I don't know where Ashok is, IIBX having come in. Okay, so I want to just state that, and it's a common thing even across the trade. Obviously, there is always more ground to cover because we have started changing. So I think that's a positive note. I want to just start off by saying that. My only question before he raises is, are we trying too many things rather than taking one or two big things and making them so soft? That's my question, but you can answer it generally. We will probably open it up for that. Or you want to first cover that up? Because the export through post offices, for instance, it's an extraordinary this thing. But it comes with its own challenges, because you now have, anybody can export, and what they are exporting has to be verified, and things will go wrong initially, right? I mean, people will do something. It will become a tool for something else. Now, are we doing everything at one stage? I think maybe that's customs approach now to change it entirely, but that's my first question to you. Then I will come back to I have a right to ask the first question because I am sitting here.
Yeah. So let me just put it in perspective. So even CBIC also has different verticals. Of course, Post, Department Post is also heavily invested, and they are also doing a lot of IT. In fact, the IT system for this hub and spoke model is developed by Department of Post, where Customs is collaborating. So it's a joint effort, and there are different wings which are operating, different perspectives. So I think it is a calibrated thing. We don't take too much of it. Of course, but we need to understand that needs of an industry, because a lot of things are changing at a faster pace. So there is also need to bring certain things in a thing. Some things are not working. Some things are, there are a lot more grounds to cover, as it has been rightly put. Of course, we are aware of the challenges, and we are fixing it, so that I think it is always for the better of tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. And all the facilitations being done by customs are really, marvelous. And I've gone through all that. And in integration with shifting from manual to all integrated IT-based system will definitely, help the exports and getting bond cancellation and duty credit scripts, etc. All things will be interlinked, and it will be definitely helpful. But there are some initial teething troubles are there, which I think need to be resolved very soon. First thing is that there are there is some confusion in the market regarding the IGCR and specific end use rules of 2022, which have been revised recently in the year 2022. The first thing is that when the duty-free gold is given to the exporters by nominated agencies, in that case it is the gold given to the exporter, it is not belonging to the nominated agency. So it is going for end use to the manufacturer, and then it is being manufactured and exported. So in this case, job work is permitted, and it is very well clarified in your IGCR notification also. Now, in case the gold is imported directly, maybe by advance authorization or some other means, and like job work basis it is done. So in that case, I believe, because it is gold belongs directly to the importer, so in that case, IGCR rule will be still applicable, but in this case, he will have to be himself manufacturer. This is what, as per the notification, we understand. Is that right?
So I think IGCR will be applicable. Advance authorization especially
Yes.
wouldn't be applicable. IGCR rules will not be applicable there, because advance authorization scheme itself is self-contained.
Okay.
So we have also clarified that wherever the duty benefit says you have to follow the procedures as per IGCR, only then it will be applicable. So same thing. So IGCR will not be applicable to all of the post import benefits.
Okay. Another thing is, if gold is imported into IABX through IABX, in that case, if the TRQ holder or maybe the exporter, because ultimately IABX is also going to extend this facility to, source. Exporters can source gold through IABX also. So in that case, the exporter will have to file the bill of entry directly with the customs. So in this case, IGCR rule will be applicable?
So we are aware of the facts. So ideally, there is when IABX is implemented, we will be clarifying it, but the need for IGCR is not there in that case. So relevant amendments will be done, so that because IGCR will be there. Why IGCR is there, especially for UAE SEPA, is that nominated agencies takes it and they give TRQ holder. So it is a proof to say that it has indeed been handed over to the IGCR TRQ holder.
Okay.
When TRQ holder is taking directly from IABX, probably this rules is not there, but currently notification and everything prescribes so. We are already in touch with DOC, so some amendments will come when we are going to implement from